Hello again, dear students, and welcome in another lecture. Uh, Before I start, I just want to refer to the last lecture. I'm sure that the last lecture was, and I do agree with you that the last lecture was a very lengthy one. It was a lengthy lecture because I've tried to explain everything in the first lecture, including the material I've presented in the lecture. That's why the lecture was so long. But don't worry, from now on, the lectures will be shorter. Okay, so I'm going to start and move faster in order to make the video shorter so that you can watch it with some interest without getting bored. In the last session, we've talked about the present continuous, and I've told you that there are two important things you have to pay attention when you are constructing this tense. شيئين مهمات في زمن المضارع المستمر. What are they? The first one is the verb to be, okay, in the present form, and the ing form of the main verb. بالمستمر قلنا ماكو فعل مستمر إذا ما نلقى بيه شنو أول شيء الكينونة. The next thing is the ing form, والشيء الآخر هو الفعل في حالة ال ing. Missing any of these 2 points or 2 conditions, the sentence cannot be in the present continuous. إذا نفقد واحد من ذن الشرطين الجملة ليست بالمستمر. Keep it in mind, okay? Don't forget such a point. Regarding the present simple, you have been introduced to the present simple by the old teacher of this course, but I promise you that I'm going to review this tense, so this is what I'm going to do before moving to the next topic. Regarding the present simple, okay, this tense usually describes the facts, the things that are not changing, fixed things or fixed facts, or sometimes we express our feelings and opinions regarding things or situations. So we are using this simple tense as we are going to see together in these examples. Look at the example in the picture you can see on the screen. Yes, I like this supermarket. Okay, like. What does that mean? It means it is a, a stage, not an action, or not. It is not a changing action. Needs to be used in another tense. It is something reflect our feelings or our states, or what do we feel or think of things or others, like people or any other uh, things we are going to give our opinion about. Yes, I like the supermarket. I think, as you can see, I think these verbs are used usually in the present simple. I think it is very nice because when something is very nice, it means that it is always very nice. It needs a long time to change. Okay. For example, a nice place cannot be a horrible place in minutes. It needs time. By time, maybe it will change in the future. But now, as a permanent state, okay, it is a nice place. So that's why we are describing it in the present simple. ما دام الحالة ثابتة نوصفها بالمضارع البسيط. Yes, my husband thinks so too. So it is also a thought, thinking of or looking at this place in this way. So it is an opinion here. We are talking about our feelings or our opinions regarding something or someone. We always shop here. So they are all the time come to this shop and get their things or the stuff they need. We come here every week, so the action is regularly happens. Okay, they come to this place or this place or this supermarket every week. So the action is repeated weekly. Such things are also described using the present simple, okay, because the action is repeated in a fixed time, okay. That's why we are using adverbs of frequency with such a tense. هذا الزمن نستخدم وياه ظروف التكرار. We call them adverbs of frequency because they refer to the repetition of the action. تشير لنا شنو؟ إلى تكرار الحدث. We come here every week. We live quite near, so it doesn't take long to get there. So they live. Also, it is a state, okay? It is a temporary uh, thing we are talking about because living in a place is not, it is a permanent thing or a fact, we can call it sometimes, because moving from one place to another to live there needs time. Okay, it may takes it may take a long time to change the situation from living here into someone else in the future. So, as far as we are living and staying in an area, we refer to this place as or use the present simple to describe uh, the place where we live, okay, or to tell the address, for example, because it is a fixed situation, permanent state, not a changing one, okay. The uses of this verb use the present simple for thoughts and feelings, as I've just mentioned, when we think something is like this and that, or feel some feelings regarding these things or these places or this person or that person, we are usually express our feelings and opinion using this tense, okay. States things staying the same. What does that mean? States things staying the same. It means they are not changing, okay, fixed things. Facts, when we talk about facts, الحقائق, and things that are true for a long time. والأشياء اللي مثل ما just mentioned regarding, for example, the place in which we live. It will stay for a long time. So it is not a changing situation. Okay. Facts, for example, when we say water boils at, for example, 100 Celsius degrees, okay, it is a fact. We cannot change it. Uh, for the things that are fixed or when we can't change the situation, the state, or the time, we also use the present simple to talk about. For example, the timetables of the trains, planes, and the like. For example, the time of the lecture, the time when we start our work in a company or somewhere else. These times are fixed. We cannot change them, so we usually describe them or talk about them using the present simple. الأشياء الثابتة اللي ما نقدر نغيرها. مثلا the time of the plane, وقت الطائرة, we cannot change it. So we usually describe, even if the plane is going, for example, to move from one country to another in the future, we usually describe this using the present simple, okay, and with a reference to the future. هذا بعدين الاستخدامات أيضا إن شاء الله نمر عليها. حتى وإن كان نشير للمستقبل أشياء ثابتة، مثلا الطائرة بعد شهر تقلع من from Baghdad for example to New York. When we talk about this plane, okay, which is going to take off from Baghdad to the United States in a month from now, but we usually use the present simple to talk about it because its time of taking off is fixed. We cannot change it. ما دام ما نقدر نتدخل بالوقت مالتها وما نقدر نغيره، ثابت هاي الرحلة تاريخ كذا بالوقت كذا تقلع، انتهى الأمر. حتى وإن كانت بالمستقبل فنستخدم المضارع البسيط حتى نوصفها. Even we use such things for trains and other timetables. جداول اللي ما نقدر نتحكم بالوقت مالتها. For example, at school the first lesson starts at 8 o'clock. So when we say we start school at 8 o'clock, we use the present simple. We cannot change the tense because it is a fixed time. We cannot change it. الأشياء اللي ما نقدر نتحكم بوقتها دائما نشير لها بالمضارع البسيط. This is the gist of this point. Okay. Positive forms. Keep in your mind, as I've told you regarding the present continuous, in the continuous بشروط إنه كينونة ing. When we talk about the present simple, remember that in the declarative sentence, which is positive, affirmative, we have no auxiliary verb. Okay? But when we change the sentence and put it into a negative form or change it into a question, we need an auxiliary verb to do so. هذا الزمن إذا كانت الجملة مثبتة خبرية does not have auxiliaries. ما بي أفعال مساعدة هذا الزمن إذا كانت الجملة خبرية مثبتة. But when we negate this sentence, عندما ننفي هاي الجملة, we have to use an auxiliary verb, which is verb to do, in order to put it into in the negative form. For example, she speaks French. We have no auxiliary verb. She is the subject, speaks is the main verb, and the French is the complement. But when we change the sentence and put it into a question, for example, we will say, does she speak French? So we use this does at the beginning of the sentence. We just borrow this does in order to make the question. At the same time, when we put this sentence into the negative form, we also use the auxiliary verb in order to negate the sentence. For example, she speaks French. She doesn't or does not speak French. So does also use here just to make the sentence negative. هذا الفعل ما يحتوي على فعل مساعد، سوري، هذا الزمن ما يحتوي على فعل مساعد، لكن إذا ننفي الجملة أو نحولها إلى استفهام we have to include the auxiliary within the structure. لازم ندخل فعل مساعد بتركيبة الجملة which is the verb to do. أفعال العمل طبعا نستعيرها do or does. When our verb has s, third person singular s, we usually borrow does, and when it doesn't have this s, we borrow the do auxiliary to make the negative or the question. As you can see, the structure of this form, and this is the negative form. As you can see, we have denote. Okay, this denote is only for the to make the sentence negative. Okay, here we have a question. So in interrogative sentences or the questions, we have to put this auxiliary verb before the subject. As you can see, I is the subject, or we, or you. It is preceded by do, and the singular pronouns are preceded by does, because they represent the third person singular. By the way, the third person singular is the person who is mentioned in the talk, but he doesn't take part in this talk. الشخص الثالث دائما انتم سامعين الشخص الغائب يسموه غيره الى اخره. الشخص الثالث المفرد هو طبعا من شروطه must be singular، هو الشخص غير المشترك بالحديث، حتى لو كان موجود وحاضر ويسمع الحديث but he doesn't take part in this talk، لكن ما ماخذ دور بهذا الحديث. So there are three persons: the first person, second person, and the third person. ثلاث أشخاص هم الأول والثاني والثالث. The first one is the speaker, the second person is the listener, and the third person singular is the one that the first and the second are talking about. الشخص الثالث هو من يتحدث عنه الشخص الأول والثاني. الشخص الأول هو المتكلم، والشخص الثاني هو المستمع أو الرسيفر، والثالث هو ما يدور عنه الحديث. But there is one condition: that person must be in the singular form. هذا الشخص الثالث يجب أن يكون مفرد so that we add this s to the verb، ونخلي s الشخص الثالث للفعل in the present simple only, in this tense only. فقط في هذا الزمن نستخدم s الشخص الثالث. So when we find the s, we immediately decide that this tense is present simple. من نشوف ال s دائما نحكم على هذا الزمن أنه زمن مضارع بسيط. But be careful when we use do or does as auxiliaries. Okay, keep it in your mind that the verb that comes after them must be in the basic form without any addition. أي فعل يأتي بعد أفعال العمل المساعدة، أي فعل يأتي بعد أفعال العمل المساعدة must be in the basic form. يجب أن يكون مجرد خالي من أي إضافة. Don't forget this. So as you can see, these sentences are incorrect, are wrongly written. هاي الجمل خاطئة مثل ما تشوفون شاطئ عليها to show that they are not true or incorrect. Here we have a practice. You have to do these exercises. Okay. Look at each underlined verb and say what kind of meaning it expresses. Okay. Just tell whether this verb express feeling or describe the feeling or repeated action or any other uses of the present simple. مثل ما قلنا احنا هذا الزمن describes feelings or opinions or actions, sometimes repeated action. You have to tell whether these sentences are describing feelings or repeated action or giving an opinion or something similar. Just mention that. Regarding the next one, complete the sentences by putting the verbs. Use the present simple. You have to decide if the verb is positive or negative. So you have to do these sentences. You have the verb in the basic form عندك الفعل مجرد. Just to try to put it in the correct form, and be careful whether you need to make the sentence negative or affirmative. من سياق الجملة راح تعرف هل الجملة تحتاج تكون منفية أو مثبتة. Next one, complete the conversation. Put in the present simple forms. هنا طبعا تستخدم أيضا زمن المضارع البسيط to complete this exercise. The next topic, or the next thing I'm going to talk about, is present continuous or present simple. What is the difference between these two tenses? Okay, we've explained the present continuous and the present simple, so we need to know what is the difference between these two tenses? As I've just mentioned, each tense has its uses. كل زمن له استخدامات. For example, the same person appears here in these two pictures. نفس الشخص جاي يظهر لنا in the two pictures, but one is written in the present continuous, the other is in the present simple. So let's read them and decide why these sentences are different in their tenses. I mean, I'm speaking to you live from the White House. So she is in the middle of the action. The action is not over yet. So that's why she is using the present continuous. The next picture, I often speak live to the camera. So the action is repeated from time to time, okay, or at a fixed time. She does the same thing repeatedly. That's why she is using the present simple, okay. I love that part. She loves something, so she expresses herself. When we express ourselves or to give opinions, we use the present simple. News reporting means everything to me. So also she is giving her opinion regarding reporting. She loves reporting news. Okay, they mean uh, everything for her. So she is giving her opinion regarding the job she is doing. Okay, that's why she is using the simple present. She is expressing herself. As you can see, we have a comparison between these two tenses. Uh, on the left, we are using the present continuous, and on the right, we have the present simple, and you are going to see the difference between these pairs of sentences. For example, here we use the present continuous for something happening now. So the time of the action is now. It is not over yet. It is happening when we are talking about it. For example, I am speaking to you live means that Kati is in the middle of a live broadcast. So she is doing this action now. The action is not finished yet. Here are some more examples. Let's see these examples or read them. It's raining at the moment, so the rain is pouring outside. When we look outside from the window, we can see the rain is falling. I'm watching this program, so it means that the program is not finished yet. The program is still on the TV and we are watching this program. Look, that man is taking a photo of you. So this man is holding his camera and is taking the photo. He hasn't finished yet, okay? Still in the position of taking a photo. While the present simple, what does it say? We use the present simple, as you can see. We use the present simple for repeated actions. So actions that are repeated frequently happens. I often speak live to the camera means that she does it again and again. So she from time to time, let's say for example, every morning or every Sunday, she uh, goes live. She speak live. Um, so she is repeating the same thing from time to time or at a fixed time. That's why we are using the simple present. Let's read the other examples. It always rains at the weekend. So every weekend, this sentence means every weekend we have rain. The next example, I watch television most weekends. So In the weekends, I watch television. So it is repeated action. I do the same thing from time to time. The last example, he's a photographer. He takes lots of photos. So his job is taking photos. So he does the same thing again and again. That's why we are using the simple present. As you can see, the same things we have discussed earlier, thoughts, feelings, and states. Okay, when we express ourselves, for example, as you can see, the verbs think, this is what we think, okay, or likes, opinions. For example, reporting means a lot to her. It means that she loves reporting. Paper burns easily. This is a fact. Okay, we can call it a scientific fact. We cannot change it because paper burns easily. الورق يحترق بسهولة. We cannot change this fact, so it is a fixed one. We also use the present simple and I promise, I agree, I refuse. Such expressions are also used in the simple present. For example, I promise I'll write to you. It's all right, or forgive you. Number three, temporary or permanent. So according to the situation, temporary, okay, it means changing. The situation is changing. So we usually use the present continuous for changing situations. But the permanent or the fixed situations, like the facts or the opinions, we usually use the simple present. Here we have also examples. We use the present continuous for a routine or situation that we see as temporary. Okay, it is not a permanent one for a short period. So the situation will change after a while. Okay, but in the present simple, no, it will not change. It will take a long time. Okay, such cases not very easy, I think, for the students. Okay, I know they are difficult, but it does not mean that we just miss them or leave them out. We try to read them and try to think about them, try to learn them, um, but I'm not going to concentrate on them because I know they are uh, difficult for you as students of the second year. But by time you will be familiar with such situations. Sorry. We also use always. You all know that always is an adverb of frequency. هذا هو ظرف تكرار. And it is usually used with the simple present يستخدم مع المضارع البسيط. But we can sometimes use it with the present continuous. But the meaning is different. Okay? For example, Tom is always inviting friends here. What does that mean? He invites them very often, but we don't have a fixed time. Look at the sentence that in front of it, اللي قدامها. Tom always invites us to stay at Christmas. Here we can see the time in which the action is repeated. So it means a fixed situation. شنو الاختلاف؟ طبعا بالجملتين ممكن يتساءل البعض من عندكم. Tom is always inviting friends here. يدعو الأصدقاء هنا. وهنا يدعونا للكريسماس. شنو الفرق بين الأصدقاء وبين دعوتنا؟ الفرق أنه I'm going to explain that in Arabic to be uh, fully aware of such cases حتى تكون واضحة جدا لكم مثل هذه الحالات. هنا يدعو أصدقاء كثيرا كحالة يعني غير محددة، شو وقت يدعوهم ما نعرف، لكن هنا فد شيء ثابت، الحدث يتكرر كل كريسماس. Okay, the difference is slight. I know that and it is difficult for you, but don't worry, I'm not going to concentrate on such points. because of their difficulty. Just read them and try to learn them, and everything will be fine. You have a practices here. You have to do the exercises. Okay, read the instructions and do the exercises and send them to me, please. Send me your answers so that I can grade you. You will be graded according to the things that I receive from you. اللي ترسلوا لي راح ينزل لكم كذا درجات يعني كمشاركة. State verbs and action verbs. What does that mean? The state, as we've just mentioned, مثل ما قلنا هسه الستيت الحالة، لكن الأكشن حدث. الحالة دائما تكون ثابتة أغلب الأحيان، والأكشن يكون متغير. Okay, that's why we use the state in the simple present and the action in the present continuous. And not always, but most of the time it is like that. Okay, according to the action or the state. هنا أنا عندي حالات وعندي أحداث. طبعا الحالات دائما تكون ثابتة. Like these sentences, the flat is clean, so it is something fixed. It means a state. هاي حالة إنه الفلات الشقة نظيفة. The farmer owns the land. هذا مو فد شيء مؤقت يعني. يملك الأرض الفلاح. مو معناه إنه يملك الأرض وورا 5 دقائق ما راح يكون يملكها. لا، هاي حالة ثابتة. الأرض ملكه. Okay. But in action, we can use the action in the present simple or the present continuous. But the stative verbs, أفعال الحالة, usually use in the present simple. And if we use them in the continuous form, they give other meanings. أفعال الحالة تستخدم بالزمن المضارع البسيط. Keep it in your mind. Okay, I'm saying that in Arabic in order to be aware of such things. حتى تعرف هاي الأشياء. أفعال الحالة اللي تشير للحالة دائما تجينا في زمن المضارع البسيط، لكن بعض الأحيان نستخدمها مثل ما تشوفون هنا. بعض الأفعال مستخدميها. شوف for example seeing. see هنا ينظر أو يرى تستخدم في زمن المضارع البسيط، لكن هنا بنستخدمها seeing. Mark is seeing his boss. مو معناها جاي ينظر ويشوف البوس مالته، وإنما meeting him جاي يلتقي به. So the meaning is different. That's why it is used in the present continuous. If it is in its real meaning or the basic meaning, the sentence is incorrect. لو كان معناها يرى كانت الجملة خاطئة، لأن يرى من أفعال الحالة أو stative verb we call it. You have some examples here. Please do read them. Be familiar with them. Okay. I'm moving so quickly in order not to make the video a lengthy one. Okay. Do the practices. Okay. And then we have the test. Please pay too much attention to the test. الاختبار هذا مهم جدا. All your questions will be in the same form. راح أجيب لكم أسئلة لكن مو من داخل التست، مشابهة لأسئلة التست. Okay. Different sentences but in the same form. نفس التركيبة ونفس الأسئلة نفس الاختبار but different sentences. So please do it. Okay, answer these questions and send me your answers and pay more attention to such exercises because you are going to have a special, this one, you can see this C exercise. Okay, this one is a very, very important one. هذا جدا مهم. You will have similar question or a question in another form but in the same content. نفس المحتوى ممكن أغير لك إياه، مو أجيبه بالطريقة هذه، ممكن أغير الطريقة، ممكن بنفس الطريقة لكن جمل مختلفة. هذا التمرين جدا مهم. Please do all these exercises in the test. I mean test A, which is on page 16. Please do it carefully and send me your answers. Your tests will contain um, points like the ones mentioned in this test. اختباركم أو امتحانكم راح يحتوي على فقرات مشابهة لما موجود هنا. That's why I'm urging you to pay more attention to this exercise. As I've told you, I'm going to finish soon because I don't want the video to be a lengthy one, so that you can watch it with some interest. Thanks for listening. Keep always safe and healthy, and I will be back in another video to show you uh, or explain other materials for you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for your patience, and see you in another video. Thanks again, and goodbye.